I think Australia has to change. It doesn't have a choice. What we see is this cauldron of opportunity just across our shores here in Asia. As I said in the presentation, air liberalisation in the ASEAN region by 2015 is going to gain access to a market of over 600 million people. Now, if that is
just repeat that, 600 million people.
600 million people just in the ASEAN region. When you look at Air Asia has 6 airlines. With the exception of Japan and AirAsia X, their long-haul carrier, they have operations in most of these markets, and they have a hub-and-spoke system in Asia, which is the envy of every other airline.
Yeah.
What we're seeing down in Australia is Qantas, of course, with a 2-brand approach, is very important. Jetstar and the Jetstar Asia system, as it expands in Asia, will become a critical importance. Also, not just for Jetstar, but for the Qantas and other legacy carriers for that matter. Qantas as a brand will continue as a premium brand, but of course, as cost becomes impacted, as it will do as competition increases, then it's an obvious business approach that the airline will have to look at its structure, will have to look at its route network, and make decisions accordingly. The other thing that I see, and Alwyn-Jones has been talking about this in recent times, is the situation we have here with investment or expansion. Sydney Airport, for example, is already at saturation point. It's not just the fact that the slot times, are at saturation point, or we've got bottleneck situations at immigration. Just driving around the airport, you can't get there. So how the hell can we increase schedules and services in the future when already we're at capacity? So something needs to be done. What we're seeing in Asia is that other destinations like Malaysia, like Indonesia, various other places are investing heavily in infrastructure development. China building 55 new airports, upgrading 38. To put it into context, in America there's been 1 new airport built in the last 15 years, and that's a small regional airport just outside of Jacksonville.
And how many in Australia? None.
No comment. And it's the same with all our infrastructure development. I have to question incentives for investment in this part of the world. We seem to have a mining mentality right now. We have no new infrastructure growth from hotel sector, and when we see the massive numbers of what's being developed, not just in Asia, but in Europe, in the Middle East, in Central and South America, this is our future competition. So either we wise up and get serious, or we're going to be on the back foot coming forward.
So what's Parta's role in getting this message across to government here? Because I've just spent a week in Cairns and I travel around Australia extensively, and I don't see, Cairns is much more vibrant than it used to be, but I don't see vibrancy here. I see very high costs, I see difficulty in doing business, difficulty in competing. Australia's an expensive destination. So what can Parta do as an organisation to get this message across to government that things have got to change? Not just in aviation, but in other fields as well.
Well, one of the things we are doing is, in October of this year, we're going to host what we call a City Hub Forum. Now, we've embarked on this year. We've held them in Hong Kong so far, in Thailand, and we'll host one next week in Singapore. What we do is we bring the industry leaders to the platform, and we discuss the issues pertaining to that particular destination. Parta has 60 years of history, knowledge and wisdom. Our borders have recently expanded. We now represent territories from Turkey right the way through to North and South America. So we have predominantly 3/4 of the world's market on our doorstep. What we do is we try to work with the industry here to support them. We become an advocate for the industry here. A lot of the things that happen in a particular country is restricted because people feel they can only say certain things. Parta doesn't. We don't have an agenda. We're here as a support mechanism for the industry and future development of trade here. So that's what we'll be doing in October.
Well, some people might say, Chris, fighting talk, okay, but actually talk, I would actually call it reality talk, and I hope that the government here in Australia takes notice, because currently, with the various tiers of governmental organisations in tourism, I don't think they're currently listening.
Well, look at the Middle East.
Yes.
Peak oil. They know it's here. They know what they're dealing with. So where have they put the money? They've put the money in tourism. Where's the future growth and expansion in the Middle East? It's in tourism. And they know that, they understand it, and they're investing heavily in infrastructure, education, training, and everything to do with tourism development.
Chris Flynn, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.